With the NBA draft fast approaching, many are speculating about the prospects. This latest crop of talent is entering the game in a peculiar time for the NBA, who led most sports organizations this year with its bubble model amongst the COVID-19 outbreak. Of course, that's why we're breaking down some draft rumors on Edwards, Haliburton, Pistons, Cavs, Suns, and more.
Just a reminder about our new giveaway. We're giving away the new iPad Pro or the new iMac Pro. The choice is yours. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.
What are the expectations of the number one pick?
Just come in and impact the game immediately.
What rattles you? Something has to rattle you.
Being in the dark.
Number 5, Edwards. While John Hollinger of The Athletic believes Anthony Edwards will still come off the board very early in next Wednesday's draft, he notes within his new mock draft that many teams don't seem especially enthusiastic about the former Georgia guard. Those teams believe in Edwards' talent, but a blah pro day workout and some iffy background reports have made them nervous, according to Hollinger. Hollinger has also heard that LaMelo Ball and Nico Mannion are among the players who haven't necessarily had great interviews with teams, though it remains to be seen how much it will affect where they're drafted. That being said, when draft day came last Wednesday, Anthony Edwards did come out on top. In fact, the 19-year-old Atlanta native was the number 1 overall draft pick of the NBA this year. He went on to the Minnesota Timberwolves and is settling in nicely there. Perhaps Anthony Edwards was always this way, or perhaps this is an effect of the two closest people in his life, his mother and grandmother, each dying of cancer 5 years ago when he was 14. But Edwards doesn't let people in easily. He's not afraid to tell you as much. He was quoted as saying, "I'm the type of guy where a lot of people have to gain my trust," Edwards said. "I'm not just an easy access type of guy. There's only one surefire way to gain that elusive trust. My most important quality I look for is loyalty. I'm a very loyal person," says Edwards, the 19-year-old Georgia guard chosen number 1 overall by the Timberwolves in Wednesday's NBA draft. "When you show me you're loyal, we can start building a relationship." Number 4, Tyrese Haliburton. On the other end of the spectrum, everybody seems to be high on Tyrese Haliburton, according to Hollinger, who says the former Iowa State guard is benefiting from 1-on-0 workouts, and the background on him is impeccable. Desmond Bane and Isaiah Stewart are among the other prospects who have received some positive buzz for the impressions they've made in interviews with teams. By draft day, all that buzz around Haliburton wasn't exactly what it was chalked up to be. Falling all the way to number 12 to the Sacramento Kings, Tyrese Haliburton is considered by many as one of the biggest steals of the recently concluded NBA draft. Number 3, the Pistons. The Pistons were very interested in Florida State's Patrick Williams, as been previously reported, and suggested there were whispers that Detroit had made Williams a promise. The new Detroit Pistons general manager Troy Weaver was very aggressive in the NBA draft on Wednesday. The Pistons landed 3 first-round selections in a flurry of trades, shaking up their roster with big-time young talent. First pick at number 7, they took 6'5" swingman Killian Hayes, considered perhaps the most versatile point guard in the draft and an amazing work ethic. He was born in the US but played in France when he turned pro at the age of 16. With the 16th pick, Detroit selected 6'9" center Isaiah Stewart, who was a 5-star prospect in the class of 2019 recruiting class and a McDonald's All-American. The Pistons also traded Luke Kennard to the Clippers for the number 19 pick. With that selection, Detroit took Saddiq Bey, a 6'8" wingman. Bey solidified himself as one of the best small forwards in the country while guiding Villanova to a spot in the AP Top 10 and earning all Big East first-team honors. Detroit acquired Trevor Ariza via trade on Wednesday night as well. He's a solid forward who can knock down three-pointers, who spent time with the Portland Trail Blazers and Sacramento Kings last season. The Pistons have also positioned themselves with a lot of money to spend on free agency. Number 2, the Cavaliers. While the top of this year's draft is largely filled with unknowns, Obi Toppin was one of the most famous players in college basketball last season. Averaging 20 points and 7.5 rebounds in 31 games, the 6'9" sophomore led Dayton to a number 1 ranking before the NCAA tournament was canceled as a result of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. At 22 years old, Toppin may not have had the same ceiling as some of the other players in this year's class, but is arguably one of the draft's most pro-ready prospects. Known for his high-flying dunks, the 2020 Naismith Player of the Year could make for a fun complement to a Cleveland backcourt that currently consists of Colin Sexton and Darius Garland. As 6'9" forward with point guard-like playmaking ability, Deni Avdija is the top foreign-born prospect in this year's draft. A native of Israel, Avdija has been lauded for his combination of size, ability, toughness, and instincts. While his shooting remains a cause for concern, Avdija's athleticism makes him a potential asset on both sides of the floor, Having shown the ability to play with or without the ball in his hands, the 19-year-old could run the Cavs offense by himself or alongside Sexton and Garland. At 6'6" and 225 pounds, Isaac Okoro is one of the top defensive prospects in this year's draft. According to ESPN's Mike Schmitz, the 2020 All-Sec second team selection possesses an All-NBA defensive team potential thanks to his excellent lateral quickness, high intensity level, and sound technique. In 28 games at Auburn last season, Okoro averaged 12.9 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 0.9 steals and 0.9 blocks. And while he may not have the highest ceiling in this year's draft, his ability as a two-way role player could fit seamlessly into a Cavalier lineup in much need of some defense. While NBA offenses have drifted outside, Onyeka Okongwu is the type of center that can still make an impact in today's game. At 6'9" and 245 pounds, Okongwu possesses ideal size, great athleticism, and a high motor that makes him especially formidable on the defensive side of the floor. In 28 games at USC, the former five-star prospect averaged 16.2 points, 8.6 rebounds, and 2.7 blocks. According to ESPN's Jonathan Givney, Okongwu is still recovering from a fractured toe, but the injury is not expected to affect his ability for the 2020-21 season. As for his potential fit with the Cavs, Okongwu could be entering a logjam in Cleveland's front court. But should the Cavs trade Andre Drummond and fail to re-sign Tristan Thompson, playing time could be immediately available. One of the biggest risers in this year's draft, Patrick Williams, has become a trendy name in the days leading up to the draft. According to Givney, the Florida State product is, quote, somewhat of a late bloomer who appears to have considerable upside, unquote. At 6'8" and 225 pounds with a 7-foot wingspan, it's not hard to see how Williams could transform into a high-level two-way player. In order to do so, he would need to improve his raw offensive game. He averaged just 9.2 points in 28 games with the Seminoles, and it remains unclear how he would fit into the timeline of a Cavs team looking to make immediate strides after losing 2 seasons. Number 1. Suns. Many NBA analysts suggested that the Suns were eyeing a backcourt piece with the number 10 pick, prompting Hollinger to point out that the team may be looking to address the power forward spot in free agency. The Phoenix Suns turned heads when they selected Jalen Smith out of Maryland with the number 10 overall pick in the draft on Wednesday night. The selection of the 20-year-old forward also caught the attention of national pundits, most of whom didn't reciprocate the same love for the pick to that of GM James Jones. Many observers didn't feel Jalen Smith was a bad pick. In fact, one was quoted as saying, "A franchise that has wandered aimlessly for most of the past decade is starting to understand what a difference it makes to have high-character players on their roster who play winning basketball." The Suns clearly don't believe in draft ranges, that's for sure. A year after shocking the NBA draft community by taking Cam Johnson at number 11, they did it again with Smith, who was ranked number 17 on the Ringer's big board. There are more than a few similarities between the two players. Both are 3-and-D prospects with great size and big question marks surrounding every other part of their game. Shot-blocking centers with legitimate three-point range aren't quite as unusual as they used to be, but players like Smith are still fairly uncommon. Question is how much he can play as a power forward next to DeAndre Ayton. Otherwise, the Suns just used a top 10 pick on someone who can play only 15 minutes per game on their roster. Any good NBA fan knows that the draft isn't the best predictor of future outcomes. Plenty of surprise picks have led to incredible players and vice versa. Fans will have to wait and see how the results of the 2020 draft play out on the court. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any new content. This has been our breakdown of draft rumors covering Edwards, Haliburton, Pistons, Cavs, Suns, and more. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.
Just a reminder about our new giveaway. We're giving away the new iPad Pro or the new iMac Pro. The choice is yours. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.